train wreck that day. Hello, and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail. My guest today is somebody who was on a year ago, and she is a master gardener. Her name is Dinah Hovey, and she is here today to talk about growing great garlic. Now, she wants to first tell you something about the Master Gardener program.
Thank you for that introduction, Gail. Yes, I'm proud to be a Master Gardener. It's a program that's sponsored by Cornell. Cornell is our land-grant university in New York State. They do research for farmers, for agriculture, for homemakers and homesteaders. And you can take a certification program where you study growing plants, you study about soil, you study about pest management. You learn a lot. You don't know everything, but you become very adept at being able to research and find answers to problems. And once we finish our training, we do a community project, something that we are able to contribute to the knowledge of gardening, and then we volunteer in the community. We hold an annual symposium in May. We hold evening in the gardening casual talks and presentations at our demonstration garden in June through September. We help install some gardens. We aren't going to install every garden, but we help redo some of the gardens at some of the important houses in Jamestown. And we have a booth at the fair. I help judge horticultural projects, so the idea is to give back to the community. And it's a wonderful program because you're always learning. You know that when you're a teacher, you learn more than you share. So it's a really wonderful thing. We're taking names for the next class. If you wanted to call Cornell, you could find out more about that. So I'm here today as a proud Master Gardener to share what I've learned about growing garlic.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now tell me, Dinah, is garlic hard to grow?
Gail, it's not, but it's all about the timing. And the biggest concern is when to harvest. So today we're going to learn when to plant, when to harvest, how to cure. It's really a good introductory crop for the gardener because once you plant it, you can pretty much forget about it for 9 months. It goes in the ground in the fall and then is harvested in the spring, early summer. So it's easy to grow and fun to grow.
Oh, okay. Now, you say that seed garlic is what the garlic that you plant is called.
It is.
And why is garlic for planting called seed garlic?
Well, normally when we're planting, we're thinking about planting a seed. And when you plant seed garlic, what you're planting are cloves of garlic. This head of garlic has grown cloves. This is a seed garlic versus a tiny seed. You plant it like a seed, and so that's why I believe it is called seed garlic.
And the one clove, over the months, it turns into a whole bulb, right?
That's correct. This clove will split apart and it will grow additional cloves, and it will become a head like that when you plant it, when you harvest it in the fall.
Okay. Okay, so most garlics don't have actual seeds. They were over thousands of years of domestication. Most garlic became sterile.
That's true. Here is some garlic I harvested. This is a variety called Music. I left the scape or flower stalk on this particular one. Normally it would be growing straight up, but this one was confined by the plants around it. But this, which looks like a flower head, is actually full of infertile flowers and tiny little
bulblets.
Bulblets are bulbils. These are, what are they, the size of a grain of rice? I don't know if those can be shown. They are very tiny, and if you put those in a nursery bed and let those grow for 2 or 3 years, you'll have garlic that looks like this the next season. But these are bulblets or bulbils. So yes, garlic has lost the ability for the most part to have fertile flowers. There are a couple varieties, but it would take a very experienced plantswoman or plantsman to have flower seed from garlic.
Okay. Let's see. It mentioned something about one called rose neck.
That is just a type of garlic that still can produce fertile flowers, rosewood.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought I'd bring that up. Okay. There are 2 main types of garlic, hardneck and softneck. So what is the difference?
Chris, can we bring up B3? That's showing how you plant your seed garlic. And then the next picture, please. Here is a head of softneck garlic. You can see there's a row of outer cloves and a row of inner cloves. That is true of that particular main kind of garlic. It has a mild flavor. It grows best in the warmer climates, zone 5s and higher. The cloves are going to be smaller and more numerous than that of hardneck. It grows a pliable stalk. Those are the ones that can be braided. Do we have a picture of a ristra?
Of one that's braided?
I'm asking Chris if we can bring up the I1 picture.
Oh, there it is, yes.
So softneck can be braided because the stems are soft.
Yeah, my husband likes to braid some of the garlic that he grows like that. Sometimes he'll do some of those up and give them to people.
It's a really nice gift,
for a
isn't it?
gift, yes.
And that's classically done with the chili peppers in the Southwest. Chris, if you can hold up, if you can show pictures of these 2 clumps of garlic that I have now. Here you can see that the leaves have collapsed and fallen over. Here you can see that the stems are stiff. This is softneck garlic, the one that can be braided, the one that has smaller and more numerous cloves and a milder taste. And this is a stiff-neck garden variety. It grows better in the north. I grow mostly stiff-neck or hard-neck garlic.
Yeah, that one I see you have a sign on it that says rosewood, and that's the one that I just mentioned. Okay.
So then we want to bring up C2, which will be a closer shot of a head of, this is the hardneck garlic. You can see the cloves are much bigger. You see there's no inner ring of cloves. So hardneck and softneck, 2 different kinds. One grows better in the north, one in the south. The hardneck garlic is a more robust flavored garlic. I said mostly those because I like a real garlicky garlic.
Oh, yeah.
So hardneck and softneck are the 2 main categories of garlic when you begin to learn about it. And can we bring up pictures D1 and D2? Here is a garlic scape. The hardneck garlic produces a flower stalk, which is called a scape. And is there another picture of a scape? Here are more scapes. I have on this bunch of garlic, if we can see this now, Chris, a scape that I forgot to cut off. I couldn't find it. It got missed. This should be growing straight up, but again, it got caught. And this is the one that will have the umbel on the end, which is a flower-like structure, but it has infertile flowers and those little bulbils. It also, when it's green, looks more sort of like a gooseneck. This would be green. It would be a very prolonged kind of thing. But these scapes are edible. They're very delicious, in fact. Here, I have some garlic scapes that were pickled.
I thought she had string beans with just some garlic cloves in there, but it turns out they're actually scapes.
Here are some dried scapes that I picked up in Cuba last year when I went to the Garlic Festival in Cuba. If you haven't gone, you should go at least once in your lifetime.
Oh, she means Cuba, New York.
Cuba, New York.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so sorry. And stop at the cheese factory on the way home. Here is a product I just bought from Hugick Farms Garlic. They're a New York grower, and they offer certified seed garlic. This is black garlic salt. So they took garlic and they prepared it in a way to make a product called black garlic. We'll talk about that more later. It has an umami flavor with some salt. So there are lots of different things you can do with your garlic.
Yeah, don't discard the scapes if you're going to grow it.
No, you can make pesto with them, you can pickle them, you can put them in stir fry, you can put them on your grill. They really, really are delicious.
What page are we going to?
We're still on page 2.
Okay.
Scapes. In the middle of the page, subtypes. Okay.
Okay, subtypes. Within these two major categories of garlic, you say there are several subtypes. Would you talk about them with us?
I will. If you can bring up, I think it's G1, Chris. I used to find it very confusing until I found a chart that helped me separate and understand. No, this is a good picture. This shows us that allium, that leek is an allium. It's in the onion family, and it shows us that onions and chives and shallots are all part of the leek family. I want the chart of hard neck and soft neck subtypes. I believe it's G1. It comes after those various.
Is this it?
No. But this does show different types of garlic. I can't read from here which ones are hard. They look mostly to be hard necks. Where? It was a chart.
A chart of
It was
hard necks?
This chart. G1. Did we not scan this?
Uh-oh.
Was that no?
He said no.
Okay, well, let me explain it. Garlic varieties. There are hard necks, and I like to use RPM.
RPM?
RPM. It doesn't work perfectly, but there are, in the subtypes under hard necks, there are rocambole, that's the R. There are porcelain types, that's the P. And then there are purple types. There's purple stripe, marbled purple stripe, and glazed purple stripe.
Those are pretty.
So that goes to RPM. Then there are some hard necks that are considered weakly bolting, and I remember CAT, C-A-T. And those subtypes are Creole, Asiatic, and Turban. So it's not perfect, but it really helped me to put a form to.
There must be a reason it's called the weekly bolting.
Because they don't always put up a scape.
Oh, okay.
Or a strong scape.
Oh, okay.
And then under the soft neck garlics, there are two categories, artichoke and silver skin. So I just sort of try to think of a silver artichoke. Those are the kinds that you find usually in your grocery store, the soft necks. And that's because they don't put up a scape. They're much easier to harvest. And most of the U.S. garlic is grown out in California. Gilroy, California, I believe, is the garlic capital of the world. And worldwide, China produces most of the garlic. If you want to avoid Chinese garlic in the grocery store, if the heads have very little roots attached and the area looks concave, really, really scooped out, that might be garlic from overseas. Now here's a nice picture that is showing us the difference in the sizes of the hard neck cloves versus the soft neck. And on the hard neck side, you can see that they left the stalk, the hard stalk. And at the bottom of it, that fuzzy thing is like the basal plate. That's where all the bulbs were attached, and then some of the roots. So that's a nice picture.
Yeah, the one on the right is the kind that my husband usually grows.
And Gail, I need to go back. I skipped a couple things. After the garlic scapes, Chris, can you find E2? It's a picture of the garlic flower or umbel. Yes. This is a picture of what I showed that I had attached to one of my garlics. Those are the umbels. One has opened up and one is still closed. And we had talked about how each one of those little umbels is a clone of the mother plant. So garlic really does produce vegetatively. And it's a really easy way for you to increase your garlic stock, because if you go online, you're going to pay about $15 for about a quarter pound of garlic, which could be 2 cloves of hard neck and maybe 4 cloves of soft neck.
Oh.
So that again is the flower stalk or scape with the flower umbel on it. And then the next picture that I wanted to show was the copy of Ted Jordan's book. I also picked up this book at the Cuba, New York Garlic Festival. This book describes over 150 different cultivars of garlic, so there's a whole world of garlic to explore. This man grows a lot. The photographs are coffee table quality and just lovely. So if you're serious about garlic, this is an expensive book. It was as cheap as you'll find it at the Garlic Festival. So that's a book that really is a good book to have, or to see if your library has it. It's a fun read. If you're thinking of wanting to grow, say, Bogota garlic or Killarney Red, you could find out about those in this book. Okay, so that was the book. Charts, types of alliums. Okay. I think we're on page 3.
Okay.
The history of garlic.
The history of, well,
See
let
down
me see.
here, the history of garlic.
Oh, the history of garlic. Wait a minute here. We're on page 3.
Yes.
Okay. What's labeled as 3 here is, well, garlic is both a culinary and a medicinal.
The title is on the page before.
Oh, the weekly, a brief history of garlic. Okay, that's why I'm confused.
That's okay.
Okay, garlic is both a culinary and a medicinal plant, and I want to throw in a really quick 1-minute story. One time somebody was speaking at one of our vegetarian society dinners, was talking about something she made called nature's penicillin. It was a combination, it would be a combination of that she'd feed to her kids if they got the flu or a cold or something, and it would clear it right up. And it would be like, I think it was a grapefruit and an orange and a couple other ingredients and garlic.
I think I've seen YouTube presentations on that. Well, garlic certainly has antiviral and antimicrobial properties. It's been part of our culture for 6,000 years. In Egypt, the laborers who built the pyramids were fed garlic. In Greece, it was thought to enhance the athlete's performance, and Roman soldiers used it for stamina and courage. You can go online and find a lot of good information that can tell you more about the wonderful history of garlic. I don't know if I mentioned yet or if I skipped it, but garlic originated in Central Asia, near the Tian Shan Mountains in China. It's also, interestingly enough, where our domestic apple originated.
Oh, wow.
And these things traveled on the Silk Road and got to Europe and got to India and got across the oceans.
And then finally, Johnny Appleseed came
So
over here with
onions,
it.
garlic, and apples. So go online and you can find out a lot more about the history of garlic.
Okay, what are the nutritional and health benefits of garlic?
Well, we talked about using garlic when you're getting the cold or the flu, and like the woman whose recipe you described, I always use fresh garlic, chopped, sat on my counter for 15 minutes to develop the sulfur-containing antimicrobial properties, and I'm able to use that at the first sign of a cold. So anecdotally, I say for me, garlic is in my medicine chest to help me fight colds and flu. It also has other properties. Always check with your doctor if you're taking any medicines before you take a garlic supplement. I don't believe the garlic supplements do much because they don't have the raw active sulfur compound. But garlic has been shown in some studies to lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. It is supposed to have an anti-inflammatory effect. There is a Russian folk tale that says, make onions and garlic your main and be free of pain.
Oh yeah, also I believe that garlic and onions can help to lower blood sugar levels.
I wouldn't doubt it. Again, you can go online and find lots more information.
Right.
They have done some studies where they think it has an effect in preventing certain cancers as well. And it's all due to that stinky garlic smell. That's sulfur.
Yeah, if you chew on raw garlic when you have a sore throat, it'll help.
It will.
Yeah.
And that's because you're breaking the cell membrane and you're activating a chemical enzyme which is going to change one of the compounds in the fresh garlic into this very potent antimicrobial compound, allicin. No, allicin, yes. And I grow a type of garlic, Romanian red, which is said to have the highest allicin content. But it only happens when you break the cell membrane that activates the enzyme allinase that works on the compound allin, which is in the fresh garlic, but once the cell membrane is ruptured, it becomes allicin. But that allicin is destroyed by heat. So there are still many, many other sulfur compounds in cooked garlic that no doubt are beneficial for you. But if you're trying to quickly stop the cold or flu, you want the raw garlic that has been cut or chopped, rested for several minutes, 15, so that the allicin can develop. And then if you can't eat it raw, I have a friend who puts it in tuna fish salad. But I'm one of those people who can take it with some milk or some water and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you can mix it in with other ingredients, like when it's raw and chopped up, you can put it in with like macaroni and potato salads in the summer.
Right, if you had some in the fridge.
And bean salads and so forth. Okay.
Why is bulb size important? Page 4.
Okay. Why is bulb size important?
It's very important. If I take this little bulbil and grow it, I'm not going to have a very big head of garlic the next year. But if I take this clove of garlic, this is a clove of garlic. This is bigger than a 50-cent piece. This is why I love hardneck garlic, because it's easy to peel and there's lots of it, and that's what I like. This is going to grow me a wonderfully big head of garlic. It's going to divide into individual cloves that are all going to have good size. So this is one time when you want to cherry pick. You want to have your very best bulbs and your very best cloves to plant next year. This is your seed garlic for the next year's crop. The smaller cloves you're going to put to culinary use. But it's interesting. I want you to know that of the bulbs you save to eat the bigger ones first because they don't store as long. So you plant your biggest ones and then you eat your biggest ones first. Your smaller bulbs, for some reason, maybe their bulb wrappers are tighter, I don't know, but they're going to store longer.
Okay, how much seed garlic somebody who's never grown garlic before, of course, they already have their own seed garlic if they've already been growing it. But for somebody who is just starting out for the first time to grow garlic, how much seed garlic should they buy?
That's going to vary according to the type. Here I have split apart one head of hardneck music garlic.
Which is hard to get apart, it looks like.
And will you count my cloves?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 cloves. That's about average for a hard neck. On a soft neck, if you remember the picture side by side, there were 12 or more of the bulbs of the soft neck. So it's really going to vary between hard neck and soft neck. And then even between those two main categories, it will vary depending on the cultivar you have. Here is also hardneck garlic, 1, 2, and I'm getting 4 cloves. Sometimes the grower that you're buying from or the company online will tell you how many, but you can assume 4 or 5 cloves for each head of hardneck garlic, and you will get maybe 2 big heads in a quarter pound. I usually only buy a quarter pound because I'm trying to grow a lot of different varieties. So see if the company lists how many cloves, and then you can figure out, because you're going to plant them 6 inches apart. So if you want to plant a 20-foot row, you would have 140 maybe inches, and you could figure out. So I can't give you a specific, but I can give you a guide.
Okay. Okay. It says here on average 1 pound of seed garlic will plant a 20 to 25 foot row. So, and okay, when should people who are going to be planting for the first time, or maybe if you're already growing garlic, you might buy some if you want to try different kinds. When should people buy the garlic?
That's an easy answer. The sooner, the better. I, this year, was getting advertisements for garlic almost before I had mine harvested around July 4th. But certainly, end of July, early August, you want to be getting your seed garlic, or you're going to be disappointed because the cultivar you want isn't going to be there. So,
so what should they immediately do when they receive their packages?
when you get your garlic, you want to open it up and take a look. Make sure that all the cloves are intact. If, for example, you have a clove that has been harmed in some way, it has a blemish, that might not store until you plant your garlic in October. So you want to get back to your provider. And you want to store your garlic not in your refrigerator, because that is going to cause it to sprout. You want to find your coolest, driest, darkest place to store your garlic. That might be in your bedroom closet. Who knows? Keep it in a paper bag and just wait until it's time to plant in the fall.
Some people have root cellars.
That might be too moist.
Too moist?
It might be too moist. Experiment. You'll find the best place. You might not have an ideal place, but you'll find the best place.
Okay. Okay, where should they purchase seed garlic?
Last year I was working with the new gardener friend and encouraged the growing of garlic, which they did, and they told me they bought it on Amazon. And I didn't say anything, but my heart dropped, because I want to support the growers who are expert in the field, who have dedicated their lives to growing good garlic. You can get good garlic from lots of different companies. I have brought garlic from Big John's out on the West Coast, Fillory Farms out on the West Coast, locally from Hugick Garlic. They made this garlic salt with black garlic. Territorial Seeds, Harvesting History, Keene Farms, Terroir Seeds. There are lots of good garlic growers. You can go to the garlic festival and get it from a grower there. So again, I prefer not to buy my garlic from Amazon or Etsy, but from a reputable seed company.
Okay. What is certified garlic seed?
Some garlic growers send their garlic to a university laboratory. In New York, you can send it to Cornell. It will be tested, and then the grower will be notified that it is free of certain problems like nematodes, like mites, like certain rots, and they will send you a report. In fact, I have a report here from garlic from Hugick Farms. The report from Cornell University's Agricultural Research Station, Agritech in Geneva, New York says, no fungal rots, bulb mites, eriphoid mites, or blemishes present. Bloat nematode was not detected. So you know that this garlic is not going to be affected by any of those problems.
Oh, good, good. When should they plant their garlic?
Here in Western New York, you plant your garlic in the fall. You want your garlic to have enough time to develop a root system before the ground freezes solid, but you don't want to plant it too early. So I like to plant my garlic about the first week in October. You can plant it later, but you can't always count on the weather to be good the end of October into November, so I shoot for the first week of October. That way, it's going to establish a root system. If it does send up a little shoot, it's not going to be a problem. It will overwinter, and you will have perfect garlic the next year. Gail, I just want to check the photos. I think I've forgotten to check here. Page 5, page 6. No, I think we're okay.
Oh, good. Okay. What kinds of growing conditions does garlic like?
Well, you can grow garlic just about anywhere in the U.S. I have a niece who grows great garlic in Palmer, Alaska, as long as there's no permafrost. So those would be zones 0 to 3. In the south, where the temperatures in the winter don't get consistently below 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, you want to grow your softnet cultivars. They do better in the south. And you want to give them a pre-planting treatment. You want to trick them into thinking they have experienced a period of cold weather. So you would put them in your refrigerator then 4 to 6 weeks prior to planting in southern gardens. This is a process called vernalization, and it mimics conditions that are found in nature, and they signal the bulb to grow. So you can grow it in almost all our hardiness zones, and garlic is a heavy feeder. You want your soil to be fertile, well-drained, loose, and you want your garden site to be in full sun. Raised beds are a good option if you've got heavy clay soil. Chris, can you bring up pictures H1 and H2?
This is H1 apparently.
Yes, this is a field of commercially grown garlic. That's a lot of garlic. I bet that's
yeah.
I bet that's out in Washington State.
Yeah,
and the next one. Now here's how I grow my garlic in a raised bed. And the next picture, H2, which shows a grow bag.
A grow bag, huh?
Mm-hmm. I2.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're doing this in Western New York, you would have to put bales of hay around those bags to make sure they didn't freeze in the winter. But it is possible to grow garlic in a container. Again, I mentioned it was a heavy feeder, so you want to amend your soil with manure, compost, granular fertilizer each season when you're planting it. Garlic likes a fairly neutral pH, 6.0 to 7.0. 6.5 is ideal. That's a little bit acidic. And garlic wants consistent moisture, especially in the spring. So get yourself a rain gauge. And if you don't have an inch of water per week, you're going to water your garlic. Garlic doesn't like competition from weeds, so you really should mulch your bed with straw. This is going to conserve moisture and prevent those weed seeds from germinating. If you can practice crop rotation, that's a good idea. I can't, so I focus on maintaining good soil health. Garlic can be grown with other plants to help them grow better, like tomatoes, peppers, and strawberries, and plants in the brassica family, like cabbages and broccoli. But you want to avoid growing it with your asparagus or your legume plants.
Yeah. Okay.
Something about cover crops.
Yeah. Yeah. Cover crop cocktail. You do that during the. Do you do that during the time period between the time you harvest your garlic and then plant?
That's exactly right, Gail. As soon as well, not as soon. When my garlic comes out, I cover the bed so that it doesn't have the compacting effect of the raindrops or the moisture. And then I plant a cover crop cocktail. That just means I'm planting 5 or 6 different seeds at once. I plant something that has legumes in it, like beans or peas, something that has grains in it, like oats, which winter kill, and something that might be a tillage radish or something in the mustard family. So you've got plenty of time. Say if your garlic comes out July 4th to 15th and you're not planting till October 6th, you need to do something with that garden. You could plant a succession crop. You could plant lettuces. You could plant radishes. But I prefer to plant a cover crop, which I'm going to use as a green manure to add biomass, and food for microbes, and fertility for the soil.
You mentioned buckwheat here.
My mixes usually have buckwheat. It grows rapidly. I let it flower, but I don't let it go to seed. And I'm having a little problem with brown birds.
Brown birds?
Brown birds, little brown birds. My little brown birds have been trained to know that when they see a fresh layer of straw on one of my gardens, that there's something underneath it. And they come and they peck away the seeds. So my cover crop is very uneven. I put on all the fences that I used to contain my garden, but that didn't keep them at bay. And then I put on some branches. What I have to do is go back to the white fabric that you use as a frost cover or to protect your crop, say from cabbage worms, and lay that down to keep as a temporary barrier until the seeds germinate, because I'm going to have to replant part of my cover crop because the birds had a feast.
Oh gosh. It says after 3 to 4 weeks, the cover has largely decomposed.
This is after I let it grow for, say, maybe your cover crop that will grow about this tall in 4 weeks. And then I chop it and drop it in place. And then I put cardboard on top to keep the sun from drying everything out. And underneath that layer of cardboard, it's almost like you're starting a lasagna garden. Your green vegetation will decompose.
Okay.
And that, again, is going to add fertility to your soil. In the spring, it's important, well, I didn't always do this, and I got nice large heads of garlic, but now in the early spring, before the garlic is much taller than a hand width, before the leaves spread, you want to add a high nitrogen fertilizer. You can use blood meal, you can use pelleted chicken fertilizer, you can use human urine, diluted 10 to 1. Cornell University is doing a lot of research now on what they call pea cycling. They're working with farmers in Uganda. Our urine is a free source. It's mostly free of microbes, and around the world that's going to be one of the fertilizers that we're going to be using more and more of. In Vermont, they have a community system where they collect urine in the community. We're not talking about using feces, we're talking about urine.
Yeah.
So it's okay to let your grandsons pee in the compost pile.
Okay, so 1 to 10 measurement, like
of 1 part urine to 10 parts water.
Okay. Okay.
I use blood meal.
Oh, you use blood meal. Okay. Is that actually have blood in it of some sort?
Blood meal is blood that has been dried. It doesn't smell. It looks black and granular. It's been dried. It's coming from our slaughterhouses, and it's almost all nitrogen.
Oh my gosh.
But nitrogen, we think of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium being the mineral nutrients that plants need in the greatest amount, okay? And this is very simplified. But nitrogen is for roots, phosphorus is for shoots, and potassium is for fruits. That's not black and white, but early growth, you want your root system to support later on the upper vegetation. So that's why nitrogen is considered a good fertilizer for early growth.
Okay. How do people get garlic seed ready to plant?
Okay, well, like you saw me take my bulb of garlic and divide it into cloves, I like to do that on the day that I'm going to plant. I think the fresher I can put my garlic into the ground, the better. But some commercial growers buy their garlic already divided into cloves. If you're planting acres and acres of garlic, you aren't going to be able to divide all those heads yourself. So don't wait too long. If you're going, you're going to plant your garlic, try to separate your cloves just before you're ready to plant. I think that's the best. And with a clove like this, I would leave as much of the wrapper on it as I could, and at the bottom is the basal plate. You aren't going to want to remove all of that. This hadn't been trimmed. This garlic hadn't been, the roots hadn't been trimmed, but most often the roots would be off, so it would look pretty clean like that and ready to go. Let's look here and see if we've missed any pictures. We are on page 2. Okay, can we go back to A1 and 2, Chris?
Uh-huh.
Again, there we are planting the garlic cloves, and he's got nice big cloves of garlic like I do. And the next picture, I think, shows you the very beginning of the garlic growth. That's about the stage where you could add your high nitrogen fertilizer. Now that garlic bed has not been mulched with straw. I would recommend putting your high nitrogen fertilizer on and then adding straw. I already have straw in my bed, so I just move it away to put the high nitrogen fertilizer on. So that's a garlic sprout.
And then it should be planted 2 to 3 inches deep in the soil.
This bulb is about 2 inches tall, so you want to plant it just so the tip of the bulb is just under the ground. If you plant it too deep, it's going to be harder to harvest. You're going to bring more dirt up with the roots. So you plant it with the pointy side up, the basal side down. And it doesn't really matter which way. Don't worry about that. Whoop.
Okay.
And about 2 or 3 inches deep, 6 inches apart in a row. And garlic doesn't like to be crowded, but I have a small space, so I make my rows about 8 to 10 inches apart. So that's not hard to do.
8 to 10 inches between the rows.
Between the rows.
Okay. So how do people harvest their garlic?
Okay, that gets to be tricky. You'll find online lots of different recommendations. I like the recommendations in the book by Ron England. If you can find this photo for us. This is the gentleman who wrote the first really complete book on growing garlic, and all his seed is donated to fillery farms out on the West Coast. He says that you should harvest your garlic when you have 5 or 6 green leaves remaining. Each green leaf translates to a wrapper, part of the parchment or paper tunic. We call it a tunic that covers their garlic cloves. That is what keeps them gives them long storage life. I find an easier way is to count from the bottom up. The first year I planted garlic, it was August, and I thought to myself, I better find out when I should harvest my garlic. I was way late. Every single clove I had was naked. It had no paper wrapping.
Oh my gosh.
Not a problem. I put it all in the freezer and used it. In fact, that's one way you can harvest and store your garlic, is that you can take your head, break it apart, and put it right in the freezer, skin on or skin off.
It says to stop watering garlic 2 weeks before harvesting.
Right, right. You don't want a lot of soil clinging to the roots. So if you've been watering, stop watering. If it's raining, you can't do much about that. But soil is a valuable resource, and you want to leave as much of it as you can right there in the ground. Can we see picture E1?
Wow.
Isn't that a beautiful harvest of garlic? That person knows what they're doing. They obviously have fertile soil. They're obviously growing a hardneck garlic type. I don't know what subtype. And you can see that those leaves are still mostly green. So I find if I'm looking for green leaves, I miscount. So instead of counting green leaves top down, I look. When the bottom 2 leaves are brown, you should be checking your garlic. For me, that's around July 4th. This year I harvested July 8th, and I was a couple days too late. The reason I was too late is that I had heads that split. You can see here on this how the wrappers have split on some of these. This is an example of garlic that's harvested too late. It's not going to store real well, but I'm going to use it first or put it in the freezer. So it's not a loss. But you can harvest sooner rather than later. If you harvest too soon, your bulbs also won't store well. But again, dig one up and see what it looks like. You want your wrappers intact if you can. And when you are harvesting the garlic, you want to use a fork. And you want to put the fork straight down a few inches away from the bulb. Wiggle it, get the soil loose, pull the fork back, and then you can pull the stem up. And then shake off as much garlic as much soil as you can. Gail, we need to check the time. How are we?
A little over 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay. And then with onions, we leave them in the row in the garden for a day or two. You don't do that with your garlic. You get it right into the shade. You hang it up as soon as you can. If you can hang it, that's great, but you need a spot out of the weather with good circulation. I use my carport. At one point, I hung it over ladder rungs in my garage, but there wasn't as good ventilation. Some people add a fan. It's okay to lay it out in rows on a mesh screen. You want there to be good circulation because your garlic has to cure. It has to rest. Like winter squash has to rest to develop a hard skin. Your garlic rests and cures. It dries out. The flavor mellows. Then it's easier to clean. You can cut off the roots as close to the bulb as you can without hurting the basal plate. And you can leave a stem about an inch and a half on the top. 4 to 6 weeks it usually needs to cure.
Okay.
So again, when to harvest, check it when 2 bottom leaves are brown. And if you think you need to wait a little longer, it can change drastically in a day or 2. So don't wait a week.
And how should the garlic bulbs be stored?
That, again, you don't want to put it in the refrigerator because that's going to cause your bulbs to sprout. Again, if you can find an area that has about 50 to 70 degree temp and 40 to 50 degree humidity, that's good. I don't have an area like that. I put it in my entryway, which is dark and colder in the winter, and I happen to nestle my bulbs into 8-quart baskets that I filled with perlite. But find the most ideal spot you have. Again, if you don't have ideal, that's not such a bad thing. I freeze most of my garlic so that
okay.
I don't have to worry a lot about the storage. In the kitchen, you don't want it in bright light if you can keep it, so the Ristra probably isn't such a good idea. but go ahead and use one for decoration. You can get special little garlic jars that have a lid and have holes for ventilation. You can keep the garlic you're using in the kitchen in something like that.
Oh, okay.
And again, plant the best and eat the rest.
Mm-hmm. And the next question is, how long can I store garlic? And since my husband is a garlic grower, we usually are eating the garlic up until the next harvest.
Well,
About a year or close to it.
okay. Most of the hardnecks don't store quite that long, but you may have ideal places to store your garlic, and that really helps. The hardnecks don't store as long as the softnecks. So if you want something to last as long as possible, experiment growing some softnecks. I grow Inchilium Red, which is sized up nicely for me. I got my first bulbs from Fillory Farm. I grow Laura's Italian, and Lordy, I grow one other softneck, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Your hardnecks, your rocambole store the shortest, so you eat those first. They're supposed to be the tastiest. I grow a rocambole called Killarney Red. In the past, I've grown one called Amish, so I'll eat those first. Your porcelain garlic, of which this is an example. This is a very good garlic for our area. It's called Music. It was brought to Canada in the 1960s by an Italian immigrant. He was a taxi driver, Al Music. A lot of us love this because of its clove size. I mean, what's not to love about that?
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And you can go online again and find some information about how long your garlic stores. But you can usually expect about 6 to 8 months for your hardnecks and up to a year for your softnecks. Now, if you want something that really is going to store, grow yourself some French or Dutch red shallots, because those will store well over a year.
Wow.
I grow some, but I didn't happen to bring some today.
This feels cold to the touch.
Well, it's moist. It's moist.
Is that what that
I think
is?
what you're feeling is how nice and moist it is. It does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
We missed some pictures. Let's find F1. This is another example of when your garlic is ready. Most often, you will have cut your scapes so that you eat them and then the energy goes into the bulb size. But you can leave 1 or 2, and when that curled scape straightens up, that's a sign from the garlic saying, "Hi, I'm ready to harvest. Come harvest me." Okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And again, my straight garlic is growing sideways, so
Yeah.
that's okay.
What garlic should people grow?
That is a question that is always asked. What's the best apple? What's the best garlic? Again, it's going to depend on your personal preference and where you grow. We've noted that the hardneck types do really well in our northern gardens, but some softnecks will also acclimate. I mentioned red Inchilium, Laura's Italian, and the other one is Regattuso. So try some softnecks and see what does well for you, because it does adapt to local conditions. And you need to give a cultivar several seasons to see how it's going to perform for you. This particular garlic, I said unknown, I think maybe Nootka Rose. I'm going to give another season to see if it sizes up anymore for me. So, again, the best garlic is going to depend on personal preference and where you grow. And what you should grow, again, I like cloves that are easy to plant, that are easy to peel, that give me lots of garlic. So I'm sticking to mostly the hardnecks. I like Music. I grow Chestnut Red, which is great roasting. That is a purple stripe. Music is a porcelain subtype.
it mentions something called elephant garlic here.
Right.
And it says fun to grow.
Elephant garlic is fun to grow. This is a head of elephant garlic. It can get even bigger than this. The cloves are big or bigger than my music. It's actually a bulbing leek. But if you don't like really strong garlic flavor, but you want to have a hint of garlic, this is what you should grow. It is a very tall plant. It grows a scape, and the bulbs can be as big as a baseball. But understand that it's not true garlic. It's a bulbing leek. But again, it's in the allium family. And this elephant garlic grows little tiny bulbils. This is about the size of half a marble, that encircle it like a little necklace on little strings. And so these have all been removed. But if you plant this little tiny bulbil, it will turn into a head of elephant garlic.
There's a new hybrid. What is sweet garlic? Garlic.
Row 7 Seed Company has developed some very interesting new varieties. They work with chefs who are interested in taste. They developed the honey nut, little miniature butternut squash. And they have hybridized, I don't know how they did it because again, garlic doesn't produce many fertile seeds, but they've hybridized garlic and leek, and they call their new product Garlic. And they have introduced it supposedly nationwide. You're supposed to be able to get it at Whole Foods. It's not something you would grow at home, but it is something that you could use like a scallion or a green onion or green garlic. So I don't have any personal experience with that.
Okay, what are ornamental alliums?
And this is page 12, Chris. Some alliums, it's the catalog page of the flower catalog.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Those are beautiful.
They are. Ornamental alliums grow on a long stalk, and they have this big, bulbous, round flower stalk on top. You can usually find some of them at places like Walmart and Home Depot in the fall. They go out, they sell out very quickly, and this is a bulb that you want to inspect for damage and plant as soon as you can. In spring, after the daffodils and tulips, these transition to your summer garden. And after the flowers mature, if you want, you can leave the flower stalks there. They look like little decorations from outer space. Most of them are growing from a bulb like your garlic, but there is one called Millennium, which is a non-bulbing onion, ornamental onion, and that stays in a clump. But I have a whole row of these in my garden. So those are what and then they come in white, pink, and purple. And every gardener should have some of those. There's one that grows in the summertime. It's called the drumstick allium. That's later in the year. It's smaller, more burgundy color. Mm-hmm. Good things to have. And the pollinators love them.
Okay, when you're growing the ornamental ones, do they put out a garlicky fragrance into the air?
No, I haven't noticed that. But they do have a lot of leaves, and they will flop over, and you sort of have to deal with them like you deal with daffodil leaves. You have to put them in a place where they're hidden so that it doesn't distract you.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate to say it.
No, we have to talk about black garlic before we go.
Okay.
Black garlic is a kind of aged garlic. Asian countries originally developed it as a type of medicine. But in America, it's being introduced because it is a wonderful new umami-flavored kind of food. I think it tastes like aged balsamic vinegar, which I happen to like. It's good to spread on toast. You can put it in dips. We have some pictures of aged garlic. I think K1. On the left, that garlic is black garlic. It is regular garlic a head of garlic that is processed using low temperatures and humidity over a long time. And what happens is there's the Maillard reaction. That's the browning reaction, the same reaction you want when you cook a steak. It's what adds that flavor and gives you those brown crusties in the bottom. But that changes regular garlic to black garlic. You can get it from a local grower. Ribbon Road Farm in Sherman, New York, provides black garlic, actually made from elephant garlic, which is, again, a bulbing leek, to Wegmans. So if you haven't experimented with some black garlic, let's do that.
Okay, well, I hate to say it, this is such an interesting topic. And I want to say thank you for appearing on Fresh Perspectives today, and for all of the work you put into preparing for this
It's
presentation.
my pleasure. Remember, when you teach, you learn. I'd like to close with some words from chef and culinary explorer Anthony Bourdain. What does he tell us about garlic? Garlic is divine. Few items can taste so many distinct ways handled correctly. Misuse of garlic is a crime. Please treat your garlic with respect.
Oh, yes, yes.
So what shall we conclude, Gail?
Garlic is easy and satisfying to grow. Garlic has traveled through history from ancient civilizations to our modern kitchens. Garlic is good for you. Its antioxidant and immune-enhancing qualities protect your health. Okay. I will see those of you in the viewing audience when I do the next episode.